Chicago ones, right?
Yeah, these are my Chicago ones. Those are the shoes that actually made me start enjoying shoes. So pretty much these two are the two shoes that made me really get into the sneaker culture and all that thing. I first saw this on the feed of one of my friends in high school, which was not this version, it was like a version with perforated leather, so it doesn't look exactly the same. But this one here is the classic one, and ever since then I've been wanting a pair. And now that I get the classic ones, it's like I'm pretty lucky I'm pretty lucky that I got these.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And were those those were a limited release, right?
Yeah, it was a limited release, and because I used to work at Foot Locker, I was able to get them a bit more, a bit easier than other people. But yeah, I wore them maybe like 2-3 times just because I really cherish this pair and I don't want to beat them up.
You were trying to sell them though, eh?
No, not these ones. I was trying to sell the black toe ones.
Oh.
Because I have these ones here and I don't need to have the same ones in black, even though that's a classic colorway.
Yeah.
It's just I know that I would wear this a lot more than the other one.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And as for this one here, it's the Air Max 90 in the classic color, which is the infrared. And what's special about this to me is how the orange pops. So the funny thing is, when I was a kid, when I couldn't afford shoes, I actually bought a pair of fake of these just so I can get one, because back then it was worth like $400. Mm-hmm. Now they're not worth as much, which is good for me, because if I want a new pair I can get them. But yeah, that's another pair that I got at Foot Locker because I used to work there.
Yeah.
So these are the Ultra Boost, the Adidas Ultra Boost. What's cool about them is that they feature Boost, which is whatever's on the midsole. It's a thermoplastic compound that's bonded by heat. And it's actually very bouncy when you wear them. And people really like these because they're super comfortable. The top feels like a sock because it's like a knit. And the reason why these shoes got so hyped was because Kanye wore them, Kanye West. And everything back then that Kanye wears, it goes up in value like crazy. Fortunately for me, I got these before Kanye wore them because back then I was following a lot of YouTubers and they were getting sent these pairs, these exact pairs, these are the classic ones. And they were wearing them and I was like, oh, these are pretty nice, so I ended up getting them. And thank God I didn't have to buy them after because now they're worth a bit of money. And these, I'm never gonna let them go. Okay, and then these ones here. So these are Adidas Ultra Boost as well. Mm-hmm. It's a collaboration with the streetwear blog called Hypebeast. Is it Hypebeast? Yeah, it's Hypebeast. Yeah, it's Hypebeast. And the craziest thing is this is one of the first collabs that a company or a streetwear boutique or whatever did with Adidas for a pair of Ultra Boost. And it's also the first Ultra Boost that is uncaged, meaning that there's no plastic cage here. Okay. So it's super casual, it's super simplistic, and it's super easy to wear. Something cool is that they have a chip here where when you connect with your phone, you can actually learn more about the shoe. I got these for a really good price, which is $350, because right now they're worth over $1,500.
Oh wow!
Yeah, so that's that. So these are the SNS Sneaker and Stuff collaboration with Adidas for another pair of Ultra Boost. These were the first Ultra Boost that I ever camped for. Actually, it's the only one that I ever camped for. I camped for about maybe like 10 hours, which was kind of insane back then. And thank God I was with a friend, so the time wasn't as long as it feels. And yeah, I really at first I didn't like this shoe because I feel like it was really simple. But the more I look into it, the more I actually enjoy the shoe. And one major reason why is because the cage here, which used to be plastic, it's leather. And because I got them for retail, I'm never gonna sell them. And just to give you an idea of how much resale this is worth, it's about the same as the Hypebeast, which is $1,400 to $1,600.
Nice.
Yeah. Alright, and then these ones here are last year's Chinese New Year Ultra Boost. So we're staying with Adidas. I got these as a birthday gift from two of my friends, two of my really, really close friends. And it's pretty cool to me because obviously being Chinese and having a pair of Chinese New Year shoes, it's really nice. And you don't see these every day in Montreal because they only released in the States and Europe and Asia, but not Canada. So it's harder to find nowadays because everybody wears them and nobody really wants to sell them. And it's a super bright shoe and it's cool to have in my collection. Another pair of Boost shoes from earlier this year is the EQT, the EQT 9117. What's special about them is that because the Adidas EQT line was from the 1980s, 1990s, and they used to feature a green color, and this pink here, which is called Turbo Red, it's the opposite of the color spectrum. So they're kind of like saying that they're going to revamp the line into a more casual shoe, and by putting this much boost in it, it's one of the most comfortable Adidas shoes that ever came out with Boost. And yeah, I was able to get them on release, and ever since, like, I wore them a couple of times, but I don't want to beat them up at the same time, but I do.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So these, what's cool about them is that it's the first ever Yeezys that I ever got in my life. What's funny is that so in order to get Yeezys, for people that don't know, you have to go through a raffle system where you go to the store that releases them. You line up for about 30 minutes, and then you put your name down and you hope that they pick your name so you can buy them. And these shoes retail for $300 with plus tax. The day that I went for the raffle for these, I was so stressed that I drove into a one-way on the opposite direction, and I almost crashed because I was late for the raffle. But thank God I made it to, it was actually Off the Hook that was selling them, because these ended up being my first pair ever of Kanye West designed Yeezys. And yeah, it's pretty nice, and it pops a lot. For sure, never selling these. Another pair of Ultra Boost. So I collect a lot of Ultra Boost just because I really like how simple they are and how comfortable they are. So even if I walk a lot, or if I just stand on my feet all day when I work at Foot Locker, or now later on another job, I can actually still stay comfortable. These are part of the Day One collection. So if you notice, it's a lot different than the other ones. The reason why is because it's a Day One collection where it's designed for running and on-the-go lifestyle, but not really like performance-wise, and more like casual-wise. That's what I'm assuming. And it kind of looks techy, meaning like it kind of looks futuristic, I guess. And that's why I really like these. These here, they're called the Neighborhood Boston Super. So these are more of a classic Adidas shoe. What's cool about them is that when I just started getting into shoes, these released around that same time, and it was really hard to get. Resale was like $400 to $500 for this pair of shoe, which is crazy back then because Adidas didn't have any like crazy attention. And recently, maybe like 6 months ago, I was able to get these for a pretty good price, like under $200. And obviously, I had to jump on them because Neighborhood, being a really, really nice Japanese brand, collabing with Adidas, it's like a must cop.
Yeah.
Let's put them here. And then, oh yeah, let's go with these. So these are the OG Oswego. So people know the Oswego as the ones designed by Raf Simons with Adidas. And these are the OG ones from 1998. I got them recently actually because I really like the shape of it. So if people don't know, the trend now is that it's like dad shoes, kind of like bulkier, like Nike Monarchs and stuff like that. And this one here really fits the profile, and because I want to be a bit different than other people, I kind of prefer this one rather than the others. And it's just nice to have a shoe that's from 1998 when I was only like 3 years old.
Yeah.
And then for this pair here, these are actually Kevin Durant's signature shoe. So Kevin Durant is my favorite basketball player, like I told you earlier. This is when he used to play for the Oklahoma City Thunder. It's his 4th signature shoe, and that's when I'd say the sneaker culture really started booming. So meaning that people were going crazy after these shoes. Like this shoe here, it retailed for like $70 or $75 American, I think, or even like maybe 120, 140 Canadian, and people would resell them for up to like 300, 400 Canadian. That's when like the resale game really started going crazy, and I guess I was caught in that moment, and I just became addicted to shoes now. And yeah, I couldn't get those at first, but I was able to get these later on for a really good price. And yeah, these are the Easter colorway. Okay, and then finally, I got a pair of New Balance here. So these are New Balance 997. Yeah, 997, made in the USA. So the reason why it's made in the USA is because it's a lot. The quality is a lot better than the regular ones, which are made elsewhere. They're also worth a lot more. So retail on these would be $300 Canadian about. Cool thing about these is that it's a collaboration with a store in Boston called Concepts, and they base these off a luxury brand called Hermes, which features like this orange color. And by putting this color on a pair of suede New Balances, it just makes the shoe pop a lot. And the quality on these are insane. And obviously when I first wanted them, they sold out right away. And just like every other shoe, I was able to wait a bit and just get them at the end for a lot cheaper. Yeah.
Nice.
That's it.